Bloody hell, mate, it's been a little while since I've seen you. But, you know, we got to get back on the grind because we have a new heroic race with, I would say, a very cool looking pumpkinny boy right here. So this is the High Hallows dragon, and of course this is a heroic race. It seems like it's the same sort of format as previously, so if you've ever played a different heroic race before, you probably got a good idea of what you're doing. But of course, last time we had the stabby snake boy. This time we have the cool pumpkinny boy. But as always, I will go through what you need to do during this event to actually get to a high lap. I say that I'm currently on lap 3 node 4 because I haven't had much of a chance to log in, but this is, like I said, a regular heroic race, so either you need to come first in your heroic race, or you can guaranteed get this new High Hallows dragon by getting to lap 15 of the race. So again, if you get to lap 15, he is guaranteed, and I always suggest going to lap 15 if you can. And even if you go to school for 9 hours a day or work for 12 hours a day, it's still possible to get to lap 15. In fact, it's possible to go all the way up to 18, and it still should be possible in this race as well. And the reason why you might want to get up to 18 is because, as you can see here, we've got 500 orbs of the pumpkin, and we also have another 200 orbs available on lap 16, which is a really easy way to get these heroic dragons from the races at Empower level 4 or even Empower level 5. But we have him, and we do also have his beautiful looking skin right here. Look at that, the candy apple glaze. Very poggers, I would say. But it looks like our ranking so far, we have a leaderboard of quite inactive people, which doesn't actually matter to me because, again, if you're going to get to lap 15 anyway, it doesn't actually matter where your opponent's place because you're going to be going beyond lap 15 regardless. But, you know, I would highly recommend going to 18 if you can. If not, at least get the dragon on lap 15. And the way that you can get him is by finishing off these laps and these nodes. And so we've got the same quests as before. We do also have these spinner skips, these booster spins, which I highly recommend using on battling. So if you can't do league battles, use your booster spin on that. Or if you are waiting on some really long battle timer, you can use it on that. But in terms of the 2 quests that we've got here, we've got feeding dragons and collecting food. I love feeding dragons because it is so easy, but collecting food is one of the annoying ones. But the thing about all of the timers in heroic race, it's the same advice as you'd get for any other race, and it's the same as you'd get for, say, the runner events. Use the shortest timer things that you can. So in this case, you will be using the bluebell bouquets over and over again because there's a 10% chance to get the item. And then with feeding dragons, literally all that you need to do is hatch a level 1 dragon. So we could just hatch this Aurora dragon, for instance. I'm not going to because I kind of want to save it for hatching quests, but just find a level 1 dragon or hatch a flame dragon egg or a terror dragon egg. And then just feed it up, get the items that you need, boom, bang, easy clap. The only thing that would make it difficult to do the feeding quest would be the same for any quest, which would be if your items were on cooldown at the time. High tech looks very weird in high def, but anyway, we are back here, and as you can see, we got items for feeding dragons. It's pretty self-explanatory, but these food collecting items, like I said, it's about 10% per collect, so you're not guaranteed an item every single time, and it's only a 10% with the shortest food timer. If you do use longer timers, you do have a higher chance of getting an item, but you don't want to be clogging either any of your farms, really. You don't want to be clogging up your breeding dens, and you don't want to be clogging up your hatchery, mainly in this event. So bearing all of that in mind, that is why we are going to use these bluebell bouquets, and hopefully, if the game is nice to us, it's going to give us at least 1 item here, and then we can move on, and it did. So now we're going to regrow all again, come back, and now we have the breeding quests. So, like I said, you will usually, for these breeding quests, use the shortest timer that you can to do this, which is going to be Beloved Terra X Terra. And, if I search up the Terra dragons here, you'll see that I've got empowered Terras, 2 of them, in fact, but then I have 2 non-empowered Terra dragons, and these non-empowered Terra dragons are the ones that you want to be using when you're breeding during the event. Don't use the empowered ones because you don't want a high timer. But alternatively, if you have things prepared, then you can actually just get guaranteed items. So like if you have a timer, I believe it's around the 8 to 9 hour mark, somewhere between there, you are guaranteed an item in this event. So like for instance, if we just go and, I don't know, let's place him over here. Actually, I'm probably gonna have to sell him because we don't have enough room. But if we get this breed here, I knew that that was going to be a guaranteed item because I knew that the timer was above 9 hours. And then we've got another one here. Let's just sell them because who cares? We have another set of breeding going on here. That one was actually a war dragon egg, which means it was not a guaranteed timer on that one. And usually in one of my breeding dens, I will do one set of random breeding. I don't need to do this one anymore. Actually, there are still 2 dragons that I don't have out of this breed, so I am going to throw them. Oh, we got a new one. Pogger's Champ. Beautiful. That was worth it. But if you have a timer like a war dragon egg, usually you will get an item, but not always. So it's something that you have to be very aware of when you're playing these events, that even if you do use a longer timer, it's not guaranteed until it's about like that 9 hour mark. So always bear that in mind. And we do have this breed here, which is actually also going to help us with Rhino Dillo. I almost said the other word, pass. So I'm using it for that. But we still have one more item in this breeding that we would need. And in this case, that is when we start throwing in our beloved Terra Dragons. And the thing is, it doesn't have to just be Terra. You can use double Terra as well. It's mainly about the elements that they have. And as long as the only outcome is going to be a Terra Dragon, well, that's the only thing that really matters, to be honest. So in 2 of the breeding dens, that is where we throw in Terras, non-empowered Terras, to breed. And one of my breeding dens is usually always used for some sort of special collection breeding. So there is that. So we do need one more item. Let's see if we get lucky with one more breed from our thing. But we do also have Scarecrow here, which actually we can get him from the race as well. You know, all these Halloween-y themed dragons. But you see, we place a Terra Dragon egg, we don't get an item. And we do it again and again and again. But ideally, I would say that you want your hatchery and your breeding dens to be available, so you wouldn't have these like 1 day 15-hour timers. The only reason I've been doing that is because I've been doing tons and tons of collection breeding, which you don't want to be having that through the whole of the heroic race, because otherwise you will be struggling with like 1 slot like I am right here. So it is definitely avoidable. But even if you only have 1 slot, of course, you can still get your quest done. It will just take a lot more time. And so just because we are live right now, rather than me faffing around with trying to get a 1 in 10 sort of % chance of the Terra Dragon egg, I'm just going to skip this one. But normally you would do that without any skippage, of course. And then we move on to lap 4, and then it takes us back into food collecting, which is another annoying quest. But we do also have a paper bag here. So let's start off our food collecting here for this quest, and we got no items. Fantastic luck so far. But the item that we just got does actually take us into the All Hallows Screams event, which, you know, we do still have league battles that we haven't looked at in hatching from the heroic race. But again, hatching is Terra eggs, and league battles is you do your league battles pretty much. But we'll take a look at it in a second. But the All Hallows Screams, you might be pretty familiar with this event format, because we have these paper bags and we also have pumpkins, and if you collect all of these, you have a chance of getting your hands on up to 640 orbs of the High Hallows dragon. I'm not sure how doable this actually is, because the last version of this event they did, it was impossible. So I haven't actually checked that as of yet, but these collection pieces that, you know, you could get a 640 drop. That's basically like an easy E5 if you actually do the heroic race and do the quest. So we shall see how this one goes. But so far we have this one, and inside this heroic chest you do have a chance of getting up to 100 orbs of the dragon. So let's see what we get. We'll probably get a ×1. What are we getting? ×1 High Hallows, and you also get essence, which is another really good thing that's in this. ×10, hell yes. So that is a wonderful, wonderful drop. 10 heroic trade essence definitely helps. But we also have abnormal dragon as a reward, some random perks, legendary jokers, but the major reward is the main thing that people go for, of course. So there is that. Let's come back, collect our items here, because we're going to have to do this like 5 bajillion times before we get 21. It's just the way that the event is. And then we do have more events here, but just very quickly, in case you ever want to know what the cooldowns are on these quests, always use some sort of guide. I do think that Ditlep does have a good one. Deetlist I also quite like using, and you don't have to worry about the ads on that site as much then. But Ditlep, for instance, you can click on your current lap and then check what the cooldown is and how many items are coming up and what sort of quests are coming up. So like after lap 4 node 1, we have collect food first, which is going to be the 21 items. And then straight after that, we're going to have lap 4 node 2, which is going to have feeding dragons and battling dragons. And the battling dragons one is the annoying one. So we definitely want to be getting to that stage so that we can actually go through it. But essentially with the battling dragons, you can do the first battle straight away, but then you'll see that there are 3 other battles that you have to do, and they all have cooldowns. And typically it is better to skip the final battle because it is the longest timer, but that can change slightly depending on situation. But node 2 has no cooldown on the feeding, but you're going to have to wait for the battling. So, you know, there will be some wait timers, and as it says here, the minimum amount of time taken for this one is 1 hour and 15, but if you skip the final battle, it will be faster than that, of course. It becomes more important later on in the higher laps. And then node 3, we will have league battles, and league battles, like I said, is one of the prime times to use your booster spins. Either league battles, if you can't do them or you don't have any league battles available at the time, or you can use it on the battle dragon section, but definitely keep your booster spins for those or any super long timers. So use them properly and wisely. And then we're going to have more feeding, more collecting gold. But then on node 4, we actually have the minimum wait time and the wait timer, because we can only collect 10 items, which means that we're going to have to wait 1 hour and 31 minutes for the final 6 items. So ideally at this point, this is when you take a proper break from the game, like 1 hour 31 minutes, you leave, and then you come back to finish collecting your items. But there is that. I don't think we get hatching quests until lap 5, because you see we'll get another breed dragon, feeding, blah, blah, blah. And then on lap 5, node 4 is where we have hatching eggs. And hatching eggs is the same thing. If the timer is above 9 hours, or roughly something like that, then it is a guaranteed item. If it's below that, it is not guaranteed, and you may just want to get the quest done by, you know, placing Terra Dragon eggs over and over and over again. So it will take time, but that is how you avoid, well, this happening to you, where you fill everything with your really long timer eggs. But the thing is, I've got things like towers that I can use to skip time, and I could just gem it if I got that desperate, but I'm not that desperate. We don't need to do that. But we do have this aqua long dragon as well that I will hatch in a second. But, you know, if you can time it along with the hatching quests or the breeding quests, it does definitely help, because it stops you from having to do Terra breeding like 5 billion times. So there is that. But definitely use these websites and any guide things that you have that show you what the next quests are going to be, because they are invaluable. So on top of this heroic race itself, we've got the collection. I do have some chests to open, but just so that you know, we did get the full event schedule for October previously. Obviously didn't go through it because I wasn't here, but just so you know, we do have a Fog Island coming in 2 days time. So on the 12th to the 15th of October, we do have the Fog Island, and inside that, as you can see, we've got the Anonymous Dragon, and Anonymous is actually part of the collections. I can't remember which one it is. It must be this one, right? But we do have Anonymous. Here it is. That's what I was looking for. Anonymous here, available in the actual collection. So this is the major collection. Will you actually be able to get Anonymous via this? I'm not sure, but we will actually have a Fog event coming, and I think it's going to be like an older version of the Fog event. So we're probably going to be going for event items in that Fog event. I'm just pre-warning you, as usual, but that is how you can get your hands on Anonymous, either by getting him out of the Fog event or by finishing off this collection with 48 pumpkins and paper bags. But I'm not sure, do we actually have this not broken this time? Because the issue with the last time was that the event items should have been like ×1, ×2, ×3 drops, but actually you could only get ×1 drops, so it made this impossible. So we shall see how things go. But that is the general gist of the heroic race. Again, we've been through heroic races many times, and we know how annoying they are. they will test your patience, especially when you're trying to get like 21 food items. But I'd always recommend, like, if you've got 2 monitors, if you play on PC, you know, collect items on one, watch something on the other, or if you're on mobile, do something on your mobile, like the event, and then just be doing something else at the same time. Like, don't just sit here staring at your farms. It will kill you inside. Your soul will die. So don't do that. But outside of that, like I mentioned, we do have a couple of chests to open up. Yes, we will be opening up a gold spike chest. We'll see what we get. But we do also have the Karma chest to open up. I have not been doing too much with the Karma event because, like I said, I've not really been here. I wasn't here for day 1 of the spike event either. And yeah, you may have heard today, but it was a bit chaotic because, yeah, we kind of had an incident earlier today where Pegasus became available for free to quite a number of people. And I believe that Social Point said that they're going to be claiming the free Pegasus away from everyone that got it and for those who upgraded it. So rest in peace, free Pegasus havers. You will probably not have it for very much longer, assuming they actually fix it properly. But anyway, let's see what we get out of this big chest, because I'm not too fussed about a high spiked Rhinodilla dragon, even though it's looking like he may be the best heroic that's been released, like, in the game. So the best dragon out there. But I'd like to see a bit more testing with him first, see how things go. He may actually be even better than we think he is, but I could trade for him at some point. I don't really care to get him straight away. And then the other spiked dragons, this is the main reason I wanted this event, just because I wanted a way to get the spiked dragons. So let's see what we get out of our spiked chest. Probably nothing. Let's have a look. Yeah, 25 heroic jokers. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So we haven't had great luck out of any of these event chests in, well, a long time now. We did get a High Ascended Supreme from one a long time ago, so, you know, I would say that I got lucky at some stage, so I don't want to get greedy, but it would be nice to get some spiked dragons or any orbs for the heroic VIPs I'm still trying to get. And by that I mean there's only 2 of them? 3 of them? 3 of them, including high spiked, of course. And why is he so bloody big? Calm your farm, mate. The other thing that we do get as of now is new arena, of course, and we do get orbs of lovely, lovely Daddy Commander there. This one I'm not too fussed about. I don't really care about any of these dragons apart from the heroic, but of course the main benefit of the arena stuff is the Joker orbs, and Joker orbs are always useful. Which, speaking of Joker orbs, we do currently have an extended Empower Happy Hour. You may have noticed. The reason for that is because of them breaking the quests. So there's been a lot of bugs recently, a lot of bugs. Again, tons of players getting a free spiked Pegasus just for opening their game. That was a bug. We also had the bug with the quest that just happened. So in trying to fix the quests for the Karma dragons, I don't know, something happened. Something bad happened. Something went wrong, okay? But on the plus side, the fact that we get to do these Karma quests again means that we get more rank ups that we get for free, pretty much. So I'm happy about it. I'm more than happy to take free rank up quests. And yeah, I am ranking up Karmas as we go through this because, you know, since the event is on, you will find people trying to look for their orbs and also looking to trade them quite actively to get empowerments and stuff like that and more orbs out of them. So now is a really, really good time to be trading for Karmas, and it will be a good time to be trading for spiked dragons shortly as well because, you know, people overinflated the worth and value of spiked dragons and tried to do like horrible ratio trades for them. But as the event goes on, and like once this quest here finishes for Spiked Raptor, once this is done, you'll find that a lot of people will be trading the orbs out and looking for other spiked dragons or other legendary VIPs. So it's going to be a good time to get your hands on these spiked dragons finally. Or you could just get a full drop, which of course would be the preferred method, but hey ho, Spaghetti-O, you're not always going to get lucky. It's just the way of the game. Some people will get every single drop that they want from this event, and other people will get 25 Joker orbs every single time. So, I guess don't be expecting too much, but if you do get lucky, be grateful for it at the end of the day. But this is just going to be good old-fashioned heroic race grinding for a couple of days. We're going to get that fog event, And then after that, as you see, we will get a maze island, so from the 16th to the 20th, and we should be getting insignias in those as well. Then we will get a tower island event as well, and then we're going to get another maze island, and then puzzle, and then runner. So you've got all of the events laid out for you for October right here. And then we've got the spiked collection, and we have the karma collection going on in the background. So there's lots of things to be aware of. Make sure as well that you are also claiming your daily insignia, because it's been a little while since I've mentioned it. So I'm just going to remind you that if you go into the news section and you scroll down, you will actually be able to claim a daily insignia, and then once you finish your streak after a few days, you get bonus insignias. So make sure you're doing this every day. I say this, I literally missed day one because I wasn't around, so it can suck if you miss one day, and it's very easy to do so. So if you can't remember if you've logged in, just go and click claim now and try and get it again. That would be the best thing to do. But outside of all of that, I have been logging in a little bit in the last week. I couldn't the week before that, but we have been doing quite a bit of trading. And for instance, no, that's not what I wanted to do. If we look at, say, yeah, let's have a look at Mr. Strategist here. We're probably going to get more Strategist Dragons shortly as well. But luckily for us, we have been able to do our trading, like I said. And yeah, we have at the moment 102 orbs for him already. So getting more dragons, finishing up our collection is one of the priorities for me, because once you get to a stage where you have tons and tons of dragons that you can use for like all the various different arenas, for instance, not that this is a profile that would be like perfect in every scenario and has the most OP dragons ever, but it does enough to win any arena that I want and, you know, get all of the rewards from the game. And so once you get to a stage like this, I don't know, the only joy comes from actually just getting more dragons, because, like, yeah, I could add another 17 dragons to E5 just to put on my gold profile, but, like, it doesn't really help me in a lot of cases, especially if you've got the heroic VIPs that are just a better version for those arenas, and you don't end up using a lot of the other dragons because you've already, 50 gems, spectacular. Anyway, if you've already got better options or really, really good options for every single arena, for instance, I'm missing maybe a couple of dragons still, but, you know, we will get there anyway. Which, speaking of which, for empowerment, we do actually have E5 Winstons now. So we have Winstons and we have Dynodon at E4. So here he is, my lovely Winstons. We just need to level him up now. And then Toasty Boy, of course, he's also E5. So we've got two more just regular ass legend E5s. They're not going to be fantastic picks, but I love them, and that's all that matters. So, you know what the next one is going to have to be? It is going to have to be, alright, I need to search for his actual name and then look at his skin. Handsome Poo. We're going to take him to E5 one day, 100%. Why has it taken his skin off? I'm disgusted. Anyway, that's back on. But yeah, I'm kind of chilling in terms of like empowerment and stuff like that. I don't really care too much. We have tons of guard dragons as well that are either E5 or E4 or very close to E4. So we're going to have pretty much a guard dragon for every single arena as well. And then the Walking Dead dragons on top, which, speaking of which, I still need to rank up Negan because, I mean, he's silver and these are free orbs to get other than the Walking Dead dragon orbs. Like, what is wrong with me? I've just been sitting on this guy for so long. This is your reminder to also go and rank up your stinky legendary VIPs, just like I need to. But anyway, for now, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to continue grinding this out. I get distracted when I talk, so I should just go away and actually do this collecting, because, you know, if there's no cooldown, you should do the quest straight away. Our first break is going to be during that node, what is it, node 4, where we have an actual wait timer. That is going to be our wait timer for this. So for now, we're going to continue our grind, and also be aware that doing heroic race progress is quite important if you want to do well in the leaderboard collection as well, because this time we've got Black Frost. I think Black Frost is cute, but you can get those cheetahs emblems, and you can get an XL food box, you get the dragon, and you're going to have to finish off your heroic race nodes if you want to do that. Because times 200 from heroic race nodes means that heroic race is kind of essential if you want to do well in the leaderboard event. So best of luck. I hope that you have the time, effort, and energy to invest into the heroic race and get your hands on this lovely boy. At least lap 15 is easily doable with many days left to spare, even if you barely spend any gems. Even if you spend 0 gems, you can still get to lap 15. So I always say just pick up the dragon anyway, because one, who doesn't like collecting things, and secondly, maybe you will actually empower it at some point. And I love me some empowered heroics personally. But anywho skis for now, I am gonna skedaddle because I am tired. It is nearing 9 PM and I think it's time for, I don't know, relaxation today. So for now,